Most people think losing fat is simple. Eat less, move more, and the scale will obey. You've seen it on every app, in every magazine, on every social media post. Shrink your meals, skip breakfast, cut carbs, and your body will melt away, right? For a brief moment, it might. The numbers on the scale drop and you feel a small victory. But then something strange happens. Progress slows. Energy fades. Cravings roar back with a vengeance. And the fat that seemed like it would finally leave stubbornly stays, especially around your belly. You start blaming yourself. You think maybe you didn't try hard enough, or maybe your body is broken. But here's the shocking truth. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Your body is not a simple calorie counter. It's a survival machine. For hundreds of thousands of years, food was never guaranteed. Some days there was abundance. Many days there was nothing. In that world, eating less wasn't a strategy for aesthetics. It was a signal of danger. When food disappeared, the brain didn't applaud restraint. It panicked. It flipped emergency switches, signaling every system in your body that survival was at risk. And that ancient software is still running quietly inside you today. This is where the paradox begins. The less you eat, the more the body resists fat loss. Hunger becomes louder. Energy disappears. Motivation fades. Fat, especially around the abdomen, becomes stubborn. From your body's perspective, this makes perfect sense. It's protecting your vital organs with emergency reserves. Fat near your liver, pancreas, and intestines isn't lazy. It's purposeful. It's a safety deposit that your ancient biology refuses to release until it feels absolutely safe. What makes this even more frustrating is that the signals feel personal. Hunger feels like weakness. Fatigue feels like laziness. Cravings feel like lack of willpower. But none of these are character flaws. They are biological messages. Your body is telling you, in its own way, that it does not feel safe enough to release energy. Every skipped meal, every prolonged fast, every tiny portion communicates the same thing: danger. And your body responds exactly as it should, using millions of years of survival programming to protect you. Imagine for a moment that your body is a fortress. Every meal, every bite is either a signal that the world outside is safe or that threats are still everywhere. When the body senses threat, the walls go up. Stored fat becomes your armor. Energy that could be burned is now locked away. You might be eating less, but your body is storing more. It's a battle you didn't even know you were fighting, against instincts that have been perfected over hundreds of thousands of years. This is why traditional dieting fails. You are not failing. You are sending the wrong signals. Your body is acting with precision, not stubbornness. And here's the part that shocks most people. The solution isn't to fight harder, skip more meals, or punish yourself further. The solution lies in understanding your body's language, learning to send it safety signals, and allowing it to release what it no longer needs. But before you can do that, you need to step back and see your body not as an enemy, but as an intelligent system doing exactly what it was designed to do. By the end of this video, you'll understand why eating more, strategically, can actually lead to weighing less. You'll see why hunger is not the enemy, why fat is not the enemy, and why punishing yourself is actually holding you back. You'll discover how to convince your body that the famine is over, that danger has passed, and that it can finally let go of the emergency reserves it has been guarding for centuries. Most people still believe that fat loss is a test of willpower. Eat less, move more, and your body will obey. But the truth is far more fascinating and far more frustrating. Your body doesn't respond to rules on paper. It responds to biology, signals, and survival priorities that have been hardwired over hundreds of thousands of years. The human body isn't a machine designed to sculpt abs or shrink thighs. It is a complex survival system, evolved to protect you in an unpredictable world. Think about our ancestors. Food was scarce. One day, they might find an abundant hunt. The next, they might go hungry for days. In that environment, eating less wasn't a choice, it was a threat. And the body adapted brilliantly. Fat was stored strategically, close to vital organs, ready to fuel the brain and muscles in a crisis. Muscle tissue was expendable, because the body could sacrifice it to maintain blood sugar and brain function. This is why restricting calories today doesn't work the way you think. Your brain sees deprivation as danger, not discipline. Hunger, cravings, fatigue. These are not failures of character. They are survival signals. Your body is screaming, I need energy. I'm in danger. Yet modern diet culture tells you to ignore these signals, to push through them, to punish yourself for listening to your biology. It's no wonder so many diets fail. You are not fighting your appetite. You're fighting millions of years of evolution. This conflict between biology and culture explains the skinny fat paradox. People who appear thin may still carry stubborn belly fat, weak muscles, and low energy. Why? Because the body is prioritizing survival over appearance. Lean limbs are expendable, but fat around the organs is life insurance. Every skipped meal, every calorie restriction reinforces the message that the environment is unsafe. Fat stores tighten their grip. Muscle breaks down. Energy declines. Your metabolism slows. From the body's perspective, this is perfectly rational. Modern stress amplifies this problem. Unlike our ancestors, most of our threats are chronic. Long workdays, traffic, social pressures, endless notifications, financial worries. Cortisol, the stress hormone, remains elevated for hours or days at a time. The body interprets this constant stress as a never-ending crisis, further encouraging fat storage and muscle breakdown. Restrictive diets in this context are disastrous because they signal both danger and scarcity simultaneously. The result is a vicious loop. You eat less, the body perceives danger, metabolism slows, and fat clings stubbornly to your abdomen. You push harder, restricting more, and the body fights back stronger. This isn't rebellion. It's intelligence. Your body is protecting you against an imagined famine, a famine that will never come in your modern world. Understanding this biology changes everything. Fat loss is not about self-control. It's about signal control. Your body must feel safe before it releases stored energy. Meals, nutrition, exercise, and sleep all communicate safety or danger. Ignoring biology won't win you a smaller waist. It will only prolong frustration. This is why the eat less, move more model fails for the majority of people. It fights against survival programming. The body doesn't care about calories in isolation, it cares about perceived safety. When the body feels safe, when it trusts food is available, energy is sufficient, and the environment is calm, it starts releasing fat naturally. Muscle is preserved, metabolism rises, energy returns. Fat loss becomes a side effect of alignment, not suffering. By reframing hunger, cravings, and energy dips as messages instead of obstacles, you stop punishing yourself for listening to biology. You start negotiating with it, and that negotiation is the key to fat loss in a modern world where scarcity no longer exists. But ancient programming still runs silently inside you. As soon as you understand that your body interprets restriction as danger, the real picture becomes terrifyingly clear. Eating less doesn't just slow fat loss. It triggers a cascade of hormonal changes that make your body fight harder to survive. Cortisol, the stress hormone, rises. Energy levels plummet. Your metabolism, which should be burning calories efficiently, slows down to conserve every ounce of fuel. Muscle tissue, which is metabolically expensive to maintain, is broken down to feed your brain and vital organs. Meanwhile, fat around your belly, your internal organ's emergency supply, becomes untouchable. This is the body working exactly as it was designed to do. Smart, relentless, and merciless in the face of perceived danger. This is why the skinny fat phenomenon exists. People may look thin in their arms and legs, but their abdomen is firm, hard, and resistant to change. Every skipped meal, every prolonged fast, reinforces the body's belief that it is under threat. Lean tissue is sacrificed, stored fat is defended, and energy plummets. From the outside, it looks like the body is failing you. From the inside, it's surviving brilliantly. Modern life adds another layer of complexity. Unlike our ancestors, most of our stressors aren't short-lived. Emails, traffic, financial pressure, social comparison, blue light from screens. These all keep cortisol elevated for hours, days, sometimes weeks. The nervous system never fully relaxes. Your body remains in constant emergency mode, which signals the same systems that famine would. Store fat, preserve energy, protect muscle, and crave fast, dense calories. When these stress signals combine with eating less, the body is essentially trapped in a loop. You reduce calories, and the body interprets it as danger. Cortisol rises, fat storage increases, muscle breaks down, energy drops, cravings spike. You feel hungry, tired, frustrated, and defeated. You respond by restricting more or exercising harder. The body responds by holding on even tighter. This is not rebellion. This is precision survival programming in action. Insulin, the storage hormone, compounds the problem. When cortisol is high, blood sugar rises to fuel the fight or flight response. Because you aren't physically running from predators, the glucose isn't used immediately. Insulin rises to clear the blood sugar, storing it as fat, particularly in the visceral layer around your organs. This is the biological reason why dieting under stress often leads to stubborn belly fat. Your body is preparing for famine that never comes while converting lean tissue into energy reserves. Add neuropeptide Y, the chemical messenger that drives carbohydrate cravings during stress. It tells your brain that energy expenditure is high and the fastest way to replenish is through calorie-dense foods. This isn't a lack of willpower. It is your ancient biology screaming, survive. Your body is chemically locked into hoarding energy while you battle cravings and fatigue, making the restriction cycle even more frustrating and demoralizing. This section is crucial because it exposes the reality. The more you fight your body through restriction, the more entrenched fat becomes. You are not failing. You are signaling danger, and your body is responding with perfect intelligence. Every hunger pang, every energy slump, every carb craving is a message from your body, telling you that it is still in survival mode. Ignoring these signals or punishing yourself for them only strengthens the trap. The tension in this story is critical. If you continue on a diet-only path, this loop will persist. You will lose energy, stress hormones will remain high, and fat, especially visceral fat, will continue to resist. But recognizing the trap is the first step toward escaping it. By understanding why eating less under stress can actually make fat loss harder, you can begin to design a new strategy, one that works with your biology rather than against it. The turning point in this story comes when you realize that fat loss is not a battle of willpower, it is a negotiation with biology. Up until now, restriction has been your weapon. But your body sees restriction as danger. The real signal that allows fat to release is safety, and safety is communicated through consistency, adequate nutrition, and gentle movement. This is the paradox that most people never understand. Eating more can actually help you weigh less. Safety starts with meals. Predictable, balanced meals signal to your nervous system that the world is not hostile, that energy is reliable, and that survival mode can shut down. Protein is a critical messenger here, protecting muscle tissue and maintaining energy production. Carbohydrates are no longer the enemy. They can actually restore metabolic rhythm, especially when timed correctly. Fat is not avoided. It provides fuel, satiety, and stability for hormones. Every meal becomes a small message to your body. It's okay. You are safe. You don't need to hoard. Movement communicates safety too, but it must be the right kind. High-intensity, long-duration cardio can mimic the stress of a hunt, spiking cortisol further and reinforcing fat retention. Instead, low-intensity, steady movement, like walking, sends a calm signal to your brain. Optic flow. The passing of visual landscapes tells the amygdala, your brain's fear center, that you are moving forward, not trapped. Fat begins to be used for energy without triggering the fight-or-flight alarm. Strength training is the other half of the equation. Lifting heavy weights communicates a very different message. Muscle is valuable and should be preserved. This sends anabolic signals boosting testosterone and growth hormone, which counteract cortisol's catabolic effects. The combination of low-stress movement and resistance training creates a harmonious message to the body. Survival mode is over, but strength and energy are still essential. Nutrition timing is equally critical. Cortisol follows a circadian rhythm. It should peak in the morning to wake you up and decline at night to allow rest. Modern lifestyles invert this pattern with late caffeine, late sugar, and constant activity. A high-protein breakfast restores metabolic pacing, stabilizes dopamine and thyroid function, and signals that energy is available. Shifting carbohydrate intake to the evening strategically helps sleep by raising serotonin, which becomes melatonin. Proper timing aligns your environment with your biology, reinforcing the safe signal and unlocking fat stores during recovery. Sleep is the unsung hero of fat loss. Even one night of poor sleep lowers insulin sensitivity by up to 40%, keeping cortisol high and fat storage active. Prioritizing sleep, creating a dark, cool, quiet environment, and maintaining routine is not passive rest. It is active metabolic strategy. Your body interprets restorative sleep as an absence of danger, allowing hormonal balance to return and visceral fat to finally become expendable. Micronutrients and adaptogens reinforce the safety signal. Magnesium, the relaxation mineral, is rapidly depleted under stress, amplifying cortisol. Supplementing with magnesium and clinically proven adaptogens like ashwagandha or rhodiola dampen stress, allowing the body to focus on recovery and fat release rather than survival. These tools do not burn fat by themselves. They quiet the biological noise so the message of safety can be heard clearly. Even controlled short-term stressors, called hormetic stress, can train the body to recover faster. Cold exposure, like brief ice baths or cold showers, initially spikes cortisol but teaches the nervous system to lower baseline stress over time. Brown adipose tissue activates, burning energy for heat, further enhancing metabolic flexibility. The key is that these stressors are temporary and manageable. They strengthen, rather than weaken, the body's capacity to release fat. Psychology also plays a role. Visceral fat is physical, but its root is often perception. The brain cannot distinguish between a real predator and a chronic psychological worry. Practices like deep diaphragmatic breathing stimulate the vagus nerve, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state. In this state, the body feels safe enough to release energy and rebuild, and fat stores finally start to respond. This is the turning point. By sending consistent safety signals through food, movement, sleep, micronutrients, and psychological calm, you rewrite the body's interpretation of the environment. The famine is over. The danger has passed. Fat is no longer a required insurance policy. Muscle is preserved. Metabolism rises. Energy returns. And the stubborn fat that once resisted every diet begins to soften and release naturally. By now, it's clear that fat loss isn't about punishment. It isn't about skipping meals, endless cardio, or pushing your body to exhaustion. It's a negotiation with biology, a careful conversation with your body that tells it, the danger is gone. You are safe. You no longer need to hoard. When this message is received, the fortress of visceral fat begins to crumble. Energy returns. Muscle is protected. Hormones stabilize. The body finally releases what it no longer needs. You now understand that eating more, when done strategically, doesn't lead to weight gain. It unlocks fat. Balanced meals, nutrient timing, and protein-rich breakfasts signal safety to your nervous system. Low-intensity movement like walking communicates calm. Resistance training preserves and builds muscle, sending an anabolic signal that overrides stress-induced catabolism. Proper sleep allows hormones to reset, reducing cortisol and creating an environment where fat can finally be used as fuel. Supplements like magnesium and adaptogens act as supportive tools, quieting stress so your body can focus on release rather than survival. Over time, this approach rewires your body. It stops seeing food as a threat and begins trusting that energy is reliably available. Hunger becomes manageable, cravings diminish, and visceral fat gradually softens and disappears. The scale is no longer a source of frustration. It becomes a reflection of a body in balance. This is not a shortcut or a gimmick. It's biology working as it was designed to work when the right signals are sent. The psychological shift is equally important. Fat loss stops being a war of willpower and becomes an act of intelligence. You stop blaming yourself for cravings, fatigue, or stubborn fat. You stop punishing your body for following ancient programming. Instead, you partner with it using meals, movement, sleep, and stress management to communicate safety. This is how sustainable fat loss happens, through understanding, alignment, and trust. In essence, you are no longer fighting against millions of years of evolution. You are working with it. You are learning to send the right signals. We are safe. There is enough. You can let go. Every walk, every meal, every restful night reinforces that message. Muscle is preserved. Hormones are balanced. Fat slowly releases. You gain energy, confidence, and control. Not through suffering, but through intelligent strategy. So remember, fat loss is not about restriction. It is about trust. Eating more, moving wisely, sleeping deeply, and managing stress are not indulgences. They are strategic signals that convince your body it can finally let go of the emergency reserves it has guarded for centuries. When the message of safety is clear, the fortress that once protected your fat begins to crumble, and the body finally becomes the partner it was always meant to be. This is the ultimate shift. From punishment to strategy, from fear to trust, from frustration to freedom. You do more than just lose weight. You reset your biology, reclaim your energy, and finally teach your body that it no longer needs to survive in crisis mode. That is the counterintuitive secret. Eat more wisely, move with purpose, rest strategically, and the fat will melt naturally.